Now we are with the Bachelor Armandina Baldasso Monsiváis, who is the person we choose as team to interview and add to our documentary about Nuevo León. Did Monterrey used to be as big as the present time when you were a little child?
Yes, Monterrey has always been an outstanding city and one of the most important from the country. Nobody can deny it has been increasing a lot, but when I was a child, we were a million of people.
Did Monterrey used to be an industrialized city, or it's more of the present time?
No, Monterrey is used to being an industrialized city since it exists. It's because the geographic situation we have. The ground was never favorable for farming and cattle raising, so the only chance we had was industrial developing. It starts by the regios from Garzasada and Garzalagüera, and there were a lot of foreign businessmen that supported.
Where did the most important industries used to be located?
Well, one of them had already closed. It was Fundidora. That was a big help for industrial development of our country, and at the present time it's a beautiful park. Other one is the Cervecería Cuauhtémoc, that was so famous and is still being an important industry. Also, there were more, like La Vidrería, Carton Titan, and many more. They were always at the center of the city.
What touristic places did you used to visit when you were a child?
Mainly the Cola de Caballo and the Ramos River, that were beautiful places to visit, and La Presa de la Boca was a classic place too. They were the three outings we used to do each weekend.
Is Monterrey used to being a contaminated city?
Yes, the government had been worried about cleaning the environment since 10 or 15 years ago. It's a very contaminated city because the gases from the industries and the cars have been creating a layer that today is a cloud and worries us and makes us think about planes to avoid the pollution.
Are you used to visiting touristic places from Nuevo León?
Yes, I really love Nuevo León, although the people say it doesn't matter, but it really matters. Nuevo León has cultural places and museums that less people know about them. Aside of Marco, we have the History Museum that is so affluent and always brings great samples. For example, the samples brought from Europe and less people visit it. Also, we have the Cola de Caballo, that is a place so visited, but unfortunately it looks better when it rains thanks for water falling. We have the Sanchez Lagoon that is a beautiful place and is from Santiago. We have the Pozo de Gavilán in Galeana and the Grutas de Bustamante that are near from here and less people know we have them.
Um, are you used to practicing the customers from Nuevo León?
Of course, we have a lot of customers and traditions that maybe the young people don't know. For example, we are used to eating family meetings, sharing around things, and eating carne asada and flour tortillas. We are used to eating baby goats since a long time, and although it's expensive, it's really delicious. Actually, when we have a guest in Nuevo León, taking him or her to eat goats is the first thing the state leader does to look good. Also, the milk candy from Linares and the Glorias are typical candy from the region. In Bustamante, we have a typical food that is a bread too delicious called semita.
About the pollution, are you used to practicing some customers to avoid contaminate the environment?
Yes, we as a family are used to separating the trash in inorganic and organic since 20 years ago. I remember we learned the lesson when we went to the nursery school and the teacher told us that we have to separate the trash in inorganic and organic. So we arrived to our home and told our mother what the teacher had said. So first, she complained about the teacher didn't have other thing to do except for sing about how keep the environment. But then she asked us about two bags and helped us to separate the trash every Sunday. Then my family thought about what it could be possible that a little girl could do it, but the adults could not. And my family started to separate it into different containers. Also, at the present time, we have a container for the plastic trash.
Are you used to eating typical food from Nuevo León?
Yes, I'm used to eating carne asada and machacado con huevo. I love the candy and the glorias. Also, if I don't have flour tortillas during my break eating, I eat nothing.
Um, Finally, we thank you about accepting your invitation and sharing your experiences with us.
No, thanks to you for inviting me. It's a distinction of a progressive group because it shows you're progressing in social sciences. Thanks for inviting me to be part of this great project that the English teachers do each year. Because it's so nice to talk with people that are so interested in the past of our state. For me, talking about Nuevo León with you was more than an invitation. It was a distinction because I really love to talk about social sciences and history. Success in this activity, and I hope your grade reflects the great work you're doing. Congratulations. To the coast of the Gulf de Mexico on Friday night has caused extraordinary rains in Nuevo León since July 3rd, where it was able to destroy the urban infrastructure and cause the closing of avenues and highways.
Declared six dead men who were traveled by the strong water course, an elderly woman who died drowned. Also, they say that 7,000 of people evacuated. 230,000 were injured by shortage and drinkable water and power outages.
Was paralyzed due to overflow of the river Santa Catarina, which dragged cars and stopped the path of the principal roads of the city. Wolves, buffaloes, and other animals escaped from the Sul La Pastora, and they were seen at the edge of the river Placer.
Of the cities were closed. Some avenues on Guadalupe and Santa Catarina. Communication and Transportation Secretary closed highways and roads. Some of them were to Monterrey Victoria and Monterrey Saltillo.
About the last one, the governor of Coahuila, Humberto Moreira Valdez, said that Alex affects a lot of road infrastructure and some old buildings and cause overflows of streams.
The water flowed football courts, golf fields, and go-karts tracked the are located near the river Santa Catarina. The governor, Rodrigo Medina de la Cruz, said that the river Santa Catarina was the higher danger due to the big overflow.
The airport of Monterrey declared the canceling of more than 20 travels. The damage caused by Alex were stronger than the damage caused by Gilberto in 1988.
And I'm going to talk about some experience. And Well, I was born in Nuevo León, and obviously I have a lot of experience here. I remember when I used to go to Parque Fundidora with my family. Those days were so funny for me, and I loved everything of that park because it is amazing and it's a place so famous of Nolan. And also, I remember when the Hurricane Alex arrived to the state. Where I live, it didn't affect, but in other places of Nuevo León, it was so strong because of all people were affected, and so many people try to help them, and I like it because we show the solidarity that we have in these types of situations. And I don't know, I love Nuevo León and people of Nuevo León.
Hello, I'm Armando, and I'm going to talk about a story that happened to me when I was in the first level in the elementary school. Well, um, my biology teacher worked out a competency among the students about the scientific experiment to make students to take care for the science. Um, I made the experiment um, about the acidness of the stomach because it is very interesting to know about how the junk food affect the stomach, causing severe damage in the health. Uh, my experiment didn't win the competency, but my teacher told me my experiment was one of the best among all.
I'm Sergio, and I'm going to talk about my experience. Um, when I was at third of the elementary school, the arts teacher told us to do the mural because it was going to be the final project. My team and I went to the Fatima's house. There, we were painting and drawing the mural. So I had an idea, draw to the teacher. All of all of us were agree. Then we stuck the mural in the school, and the teacher saw the mural. She arrived to the classroom and began to talk about the mural. I want I wanted to run away from the classroom. She talking on, and she was crying and angry. Then she keep up the gun and calmed down her.
Hi, I'm Bogar, and I have a lot of anecdotes to tell because I have lived in Nuevo León since my birth. I think that Monterrey is a beautiful city because it has a lot of touristic places like museums, parks, and malls. I think that the best experience that I have lived are when my family and I go to the park known as Chipinque. I love to find out the secrets of the nature, and I like to see the animals living and interacting. In this park, I feel free and happy, especially when I meet an animal while I'm walking or climbing. In December, sometimes the weather is so cool that it is snowing, and it is uncommon in
I'm
Monterrey.
Alice, and I'm going to talk about my first autographic singing. It was made by Panda, the band that I like the most, and it was the last year in Galerías Bayoriente. First, I was on my way to there, and I can remember the traffic was awful because it didn't move in, but I didn't care because I looked forward to meet the people that make the music I really love. So, well, then I arrived and I got my turn on the line, and it was so large and it didn't move in, and that frustrated me. Then it was my turn and I got on the scaffold and I could see, hug, and smile them, and they smiled me back, and I was like, oh my god. And then I had to walk down from the scaffold, and I was crying and the people was looking at me, but I didn't care. Then I was on my way to come back to my house, and I was dropping off, and well, then a few days later, I got a terrible cold, and well, in spite of that, I don't regret anything because I think it was the best day of my life. Thanks.